Greetings, visionaries. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. And I was just started to watch a video actually. I hadn't got that far into it, but I probably will finish it. I actually had seen it several times and decided I wasn't going to watch it because I don't know about this fellow's channel. I guess it's fine. I think I might even be subscribed, but his name is Clay Arnall. He's an INFJ, and he's got a video called "Do People Really Like INFJs?" And I think not. Maybe they like us when they don't know us that well, when they're dealing with the external. And he's going into a lot of depth. And frankly, yeah, I've only got maybe a few minutes of his, but I kind of want to get my own bit out about this because I do have thoughts, and I think it's. I also glance at a few quickly. Some, when you're on your phone, the comments will scroll up, and I saw a few of those too, which I thought were interesting. And one of those people was saying, yeah, they like, if they like us at first, then they won't like us later. And if they didn't like us at first, they might like us later. And then, of course, there's always exceptions to that. There's a few types that really do resonate with us, and a lot of it is, I won't go as much as Clay was going into the whys and wherefores. I'm more interested in going into, like, the dynamics of it. And I think it's, I don't know if people start off liking me and then end up not liking me. It certainly has happened. And the opposite has happened as well. But I think a lot of people aren't that big on INFJs if they, depending on how we control our speech around them. And this sort of touches on a recent broadcast we put out about our communication, our way of communicating. And it can really bother some people. And one of the points Clay was making is, and I think it's valid, is that we as INFJs are most interested in truth. And the world isn't always interested in truth. We tend to put a very high premium on it. I'm not saying we're the only type that does that. I'm sure there are other types that do, but obviously I'm not one of these other types, so I can't speak with much, authority. In fact, I try not to speak for the other types. I do know INFPs well, INTPs well, and then from there it's a gradient down to types I obviously would know well but don't know their type and that kind of thing. But getting back to our subject at hand, one of the themes we keep returning to here is that when we use our extroverted feeling component as a primary means of navigating society, we know we're getting the signals. We know when we're doing good. We know when we're doing bad. We're reading the signals. Speaking of INTPs, like, they seem to be a bit clueless in this regard. If you've ever had an INTP friend, you know what I mean. But we know, and in my case, quite often I don't care, because I know the price that I have to pay to stay popular. So in my view, if I'm going to become unpopular anyway, I may as well just not care. And that's, I'd have to say, my primary stance. Now, that said, we can only not care to a certain degree. And this is way back in the earliest days of our channel. You heard me refer to the extroverted feeling component as a torture device, a bit of a prison. And it can be because one part of us doesn't want to care, doesn't really care, but this extroverted feeling component is so plugged into others and to the societal matrix around us that for us to truly say we didn't care and mean it would be a lie. And that goes back to us being really concerned with the truth. So you ought to be careful with setting up these kind of circuit breakers and disconnects inside your psyche. I don't think that's helpful or healthy. So where I've landed is that I'm nice, I'm polite, and people just tend to bounce around me. Some of them like me, maybe some of them don't. Oftentimes I think people think I'm hard to know. People think that I'm possibly arrogant because I don't give away much about myself or what I'm doing. I always say hi and things like that, but I don't make a huge effort to reveal myself because I know that for the most part people don't want to see it, number one. Number two, I don't have all that much interest in it, and I won't even say I'm super interested in others either. Maybe if it was part of my avocation, like say if I was a psychotherapist, I would be, really deep into researching and analyzing other people. I will say the closest I got is when I was quite a young dragon. I was pushed into a position of being the manager of the warehouse where I worked. And what I really didn't understand was how to, because if I had a job to do, I would always work very hard at doing it. And that was just my default. So it was difficult for me to understand why other people weren't like this. And I started looking into ways to reach people that way and motivate people that way. And that was, that's a whole path, it's a whole world. Actually, there's a lot of artistry that can be accomplished, in the managerial fields. I will say I don't think it's a great place for us to be as INFJs, but it is good especially if it's an area weak. It's good to know that you can lead, that you can get in there and get the job done. But having been in the working world, the world of needing to get things done for many years, I have known people that being that manager type was way more natural for them, way more easy, and they got a lot more respect and a lot more love than I ever did when I was a manager. And now that's not to say I didn't get any respect or love. I was respected and loved, but not universally. And this is getting back to our subject for this broadcast. Not universally loved. And I can remember a place that I had employment for a long, long time. And there was another person I knew that had worked there for maybe 4 or 5 years, and she had to go. She had a pregnancy or something like that. And they had a big party, and everyone showed up, and everyone was sad to see her go. And, fast forward about 5, 6 years, I'm leaving, and party for me, but nobody was able to show up. Everyone was too busy. And that was very sad, and maybe I just wore out that situation. But I think this is a pain we feel as INFJs. Like, if we want to be this plugged-in person that everybody loves and everybody thinks extremely well of, then to a large degree, I think that means probably having to be someone we're not. Yeah, anyway, maybe it's a spectrum, like I've said, and ultimately, I don't know how much I care about it, because people come, people go. The ones we really care about, I think that constitutes family, and I think family is very important to us. And I think the people that are close to us are very important to us, as is humanity itself at large. But are you going to get those kudos? Are you going to win that popularity contest as an INFJ? Maybe you're able to use that extroverted feeling skill set to a much larger degree than I am. I have a bit of an attitude about it, I think, and that's why I refer to it as a torture device, because it can be, because I don't want to care. People are in charge of their own opinions, and to curry their favor often involves being something, well, if you can do it and be genuine, and honestly, I know people that do that. Great. They're popular, they're loved. There's going to be the big party for them. Everyone's going to say, hey, we're so and so, right, when they're not around. Meanwhile, maybe you're making an impact in subtle ways. Maybe you're more loved than you know. How about that? Anyway, that's it for today, INFJ. Until I come back, keep on keeping on.